Hi everyone, welcome back for a little TLC. So I know I'm posting two videos today. I'm trying to catch up and so that we won't be behind anymore. We are still in our forgiveness series, and so today we're going to be talking about or doing a little bit of a summary of the first four chapters of the book, um, Forgiving What You Can't Forget by Lisa Turkish. Probably still saying that wrong. Anyway, so it's mainly going to be chapters 3 and 4 because I've touched upon the other two. But we're going to be talking about some things that we can do practically in order to put our forgiveness into practice. So let's get into it. So instead of just summarizing everything that that went on in these chapters, because there was a lot that we can take from it, I do want to highlight I think it's four main things. The first thing I want to acknowledge is just this idea that we have to take control of forgiveness and take control of our emotions ourselves. We can't leave all of that in the hands of other people. And so I appreciated Lisa's idea of saying, number one, you have to acknowledge the pain. It's not healthy for you to pretend like nothing happened. But number two, you also have to own your feelings, and you manage your own healing. So when we're saying I just can't forgive anytime this person is around me, their name is mentioned, I'm going downhill, it really gives folks too much control. So I appreciated her saying, a person may have hurt you, but they are not responsible for your healing or your restoration. So if forgiveness is something that you want to attain, if healing is something that you want to attain, then you have to take responsibility for it yourself. You control your emotions, you control the actions that stem from your emotions as well. So number one, acknowledge the pain. Number two, own your feelings. And remember that you are in control of your own healing. You are in control of your own restoration. So that's really the first thing, just this acknowledgement and taking control piece. I thought that was very important. Another thing that I really liked from these chapters was this breakdown. She has like the BC, the AD, like we do in regular life, but the BC is before crisis. The AD is after devastation. And I especially love the last point, which talks about how you have to look forward and know that you have a resurrected hope. And so not staying in the devastation phase, not staying in the crisis phase, but looking ahead towards the hope that you have, this hope that healing, that restoration, that wholeness is possible for you, because that's what Jesus Christ died for. I really loved in that piece where she talked about how we see what we are looking for. And so she talked about how an earthly example is when you want to get a new car, and before you got this car, before you decided you liked this car, you never saw it before. But then as soon as you decide this is the car that I'm going to get, you start seeing it literally everywhere. And that is something adjacent to what we can do with our healing and our restoration, is kind of putting our sights on it, not keeping our eyes so focused on the devastation or the hurt or the pain, but looking ahead towards the hope that we have, setting our minds, our hearts on the Lord, and on things that are more positive, whatever is good, whatever is true, whatever is trustworthy. These are the things that we should keep our minds on, and eventually we will start to see more of that than we see so much of our crisis. And so I really appreciated that focus on this hope that we have in Jesus, and keeping our minds, our hearts, our eyes stayed on those positive things, and the hope that we're striving for. The third big thing that I'm going to talk about that I got from this book is this idea that there is healing and there is also forgiveness. I really appreciated sort of like this distinction that they're two different processes. You can forgive and still need to go through a healing process. You can be healing while also forgiving. They're two separate things that need to happen. And I think that takes some of the pressure off of thinking like, thinking because I healed, that means that I'm no longer supposed to experience any type of emotion or any type of trigger or anything like that. That's just simply not true. We need forgiveness and also need to trust the healing process as well. I liked this quote that says, like, you have to separate your healing from anyone else's choices. This is not the quote, this is my summary. You have to separate your healing from anyone else's choices, from anyone else's repentance, and from anyone else's consequences. And this is the quote: I can heal, I can forgive, I can trust God, and none of those beautiful realities are held hostage by another person. We have to take, again, a responsibility for our healing and for our forgiveness, and not have it tied to anybody else and what they have going on. The last big takeaway that I'm going to highlight for today is just this idea that forgiveness is an event, but forgiveness also is a process. So it's important to remember that forgiveness is something that we do, but it's also a process that we have to take ourselves through as well. So it is okay if sometimes you are triggered. It doesn't mean that you didn't actually forgive. It just means that there's some more healing and some more hard work that needs to be done as you go along the journey of forgiveness. And so I really did like that, because it takes, yes, ma'am.
If y'all could give me one moment to get it together, my baby was having a moment, needed some attention. All right.
Just important to remember that, yes, forgiveness is something that you do one time to forgive overall, but also it is a process where you have to actively choose to let go of whatever feelings there are, let go of the anger, let go of needing to see the consequence necessarily, because we're human. I don't proclaim to be Jesus or God who can throw things into the sea of forgetfulness, or cast things out as far as the east is from the west and remember them no more. I ain't say I could do that, but this book reminds us that that is okay as long as we are submitted to the process, the forgiving process, overall. So those are my main 4 takeaways from these chapters, things that really stood out to me regarding forgiveness and healing. I would love for you all to tell me what your main takeaways were from these chapters of the book. I would like for you to read through chapter 7 for next week so that we can summarize those next week and have our main takeaways. I also am going to, in chapter 4, Lisa, she talked about a very specific forgiveness exercise that her and her counselor went through in order to write down her specific grievances and the forgiveness that she needed to go through. And from there, yeah, you all read about it. I would like for us to do one of those in person. And so I'm going to, and I want y'all to be on the lookout for this in the next couple of Fridays, have a Forgiveness Friday where we can do that activity together. And so I'll have like the note cards and the red pieces of paper and things like that, so that we can really put into practice the things that we are reading about, because I think that was a very effective and powerful exercise that she discussed. If you're not able to make it in person, then I'll try to have a virtual option. I don't think it'll be as effective, but you can always get the materials yourself and we can walk through those things together. So be on the lookout for when we're going to have a Forgiveness Friday in the next couple of weeks. Again, make sure you comment any takeaways that you had from these chapters. Let me know what you think about my main takeaways. I love you guys. I'm so glad that you're sticking in this with me. And I pray that you have a forgiving, healed, and peaceful rest of your week. See you next time for a little TLC. Bye-bye.